Dear students, this is Dr. N. Venkatachalapathi, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. I am going to discuss on forging operations and principles. So, this forging operations comes under mechanical working or metal working of metals. In this manufacturing process, the course has been obtained in the second year, second semester, mechanical engineering, aeronautical engineering, automobile engineering branches. This comes under the third unit, that is called mechanical working of metals. So, in that today I am going to tell about the important concept of forging operations and its principles. What are the different step by step operations while performing a forging? Okay. Now let us see the in this presentation. I am going to focus on introduction to the forging and forging principles. What are the various types of forging methods and the machine forging, drop forging, and forging operations. Okay. So in this introduction to the forging, let us see the blocksmithy in action. So this is a simple three-dimensional figure how a toy is performing a blacksmithy in action. So there will be one rod or workpiece can be heated to a required temperature, and after bringing that material and by applying pressure with the help of this hammer. So that hammer, either it may be sledgehammer or ball peen hammer, a different type of hammer in order to perform its shape and size. So now let us see the what is forging. So in general, the term forging can be defined as it can normally work related to iron, which is known as blacksmithy. So when you are speaking, when you are tell about this forging process, immediately you should have in mind that is in all the villages they will perform some blacksmithy. Blacksmithy is where they can perform some heating can be done with the blower, and after red-hearted heated that material will taken into the anvil, and with the help of the hammer we can able to perform a simple L, S, different type of shapes, hook shapes can be obtained. So, in general, the forging means it is to give the desired shape to any job of the metal by heating or cooling. Heating or cooling it and then striking it either with an ordinary hammer or by using a special machine meant for this purpose, that is either a machine or a hydraulic or pneumatic type of presses also can be used in order to maintain the uniform pressure and temperature. And coming to this, small forging jobs can be done by striking it with the hammer, but heavy jobs. So a simple jobs can be easily formed with the striking with the hammer, simple hammer. But when you are transform its shape and size for heavy jobs, the forging is done only through machines. That is high tonnage capacity of pressing machines in order to change its shape. Especially even the hot working process, the metal can be heated, even some less force and pressure is required to change its shape. But when in the case of cold working process, lot of pressure and lot of force is required in order to change a simple shape also. So now let us see the forging can be done in a three different ways. The first one you can see the all these are the different type of methods. Hand forging, this is the first one, can call it as a hand forging, where we have explained in this case this is called hand forging. And machine forging, so instead of manually cannot perform the large forces and pressures, obviously you can use it to do some hydraulic presses and pneumatic presses or screw presses, etc. And third important type of forging method is a drop forging. So drop forging in the sense of whenever they can able to drop at a certain distance, and during that drop sudden force can be implemented so that any changes in the shape can easily done with this type of method. So that's why there are three basic types of forging method. One is the hand forging and machine forging, drop forging. The first and foremost thing, hand forging means to give a shape to a job by striking it with the hammer is called the hand forging or smithing. So this is what all this comes under the hand forging. So initially you can heat the metals in a some furnace or smithy shop and all, and after getting it red hot at condition, then you can take in the help of tongs and all, you can keep with the anvil, and with the help of the press hammers you can able to perform easily. Now look at the what are the important some operations, forging operations where you can change its shape and size. So look at how we can perform this is the drawing operation, this is the punching operation. How will perform drawing means, so whenever enlarging its length, reducing the diameter. The punching means making a hollow parts, making a hollow punched out part which is called a blanking, making the hollow portion will called the piercing. This also I have studied in earlier classes. But now I have focused on only what about the hand forging, machine forging and draw forging, and what are the different type of forging operations and its principle. We'll discuss in detail. Let us see the another interesting type of forging technique is machine forging. So instead of manually can able to perform large forces and pressures, so obviously we can go for the machines. Machines in the sense of it is a 1 ton or 2 ton or 10 tons presses can be used to give the desired shape to the job with the help of a forging machine which is called the machine forging. So to give a desired shape to a job, either it is a circular, rectangular or a hexagonal, any polygonal shape also can able to perform with the help of the forging machine which is called the machine forging. So obviously that forging machines which is also used to a press machine or rolling machine, different depending upon the application where you can able to perform, you can able to select the variety of machines also, and all various kinds of power hammers also to be included in this category. So look at in this machine forging, it's simply there are simple 4 steps are there. The first step is there will be annual, and there will be annual die, bottom die, top die you can also call it as a punch, and there will be a ram. So when you apply the force and pressure through ram, so this rectangular piece will converted into a what are the shape of the die. It is a hexagonal shape can able to perform, and some extra amount coming out of this mold bottom or top die, that extra material will call it as a flash. The term flash can be defined as it is an extra, a minimum amount of the material come out when the top and bottom dies. When you fix it properly, if it is a small air gap will be provided. If that gap, exact amount of material will be used to, it should not come the flash. If there is some excess material of raw material can be used to, it come out through a small opening called the flash. And finally the finished piece with the flash. The flash can be cutted with the some cutters and some of the finishing process. So this is what the simple step-by-step process of the machine forging. The first one is the how we can keep the die in the anvil, and punch in between the workpiece will be kept. When you apply the force pressure through ram under the what are the required shape in the die, that shape can be performed. Exact amount of material will be considered. There is no flashes. If there is some excess material will be there, obviously some finishing excess material come out. So the finally that finished piece can be obtained with the flash. That flash can be removed by some cutters and some finishing techniques, some grinding process also. This is what about the machine forging. Now let us see the draw forging. So obviously when you're speaking about the draw forging, the majorly spanners, screwdrivers, wrenches, adjustable ring, all these type of components can be made by the dropping. Dropping means again draw forging can be performed in a series of operations like what you call different operations also is there, that I will discuss in detail step by step forging operations. But when strictly speaking about this drop forging, so how we can see the inside the spanner, a spanner of size, 5, 6, 10, 12, like different type of sizes one side. The spanner and adjustable wrench and screwdriver and some connecting rods and all these components which made up of this drop forging only. So here the main importance is for the jobs of the same size and similar shape, drop forging process is widely used. The top die is raised to adequate height through the mechanical device, then dropped to hit the hot metal kept at the bottom of the die. So automatically you can keep like this dropping. So while dropping frequently, what will happen? What are the shape of the die and all that same shape can be performed effectively. That heated blank, a straight heated rectangular shape can be applied. And if you put dropping of that device, what will happen? That hot metal will enter into that small opening, the die. This spanner means spanner, screwdriver means screwdriver, adjustable wrench means wrench. So thus this hot metal takes the shape of the die, the wrench and other ordinary things also is made from this what you call trap forging process. It is not possible to change the shape of the metals when they are cold. So why? Because when it is cold means a lot of force and pressure is required. Simply by drop means sudden we don't achieve the high pressure, high temperature. So that's why if therefore necessary to heat the metal in fire, so then you can able to transfer into the required shape. So by heating the metal, what will happen? It becomes the soft and some plastic deformation takes place, which acquires the property of the plasticity. Plasticity, as such, it can be bent or molded to any shape with this drop forging. The main important thing is you can drop the device, mechanical device, at a series of times, one or two, and what are the shape of that mold that can be either it is a spanner or wrench and anything can be obtained easily with this case. So this is what about the three different type of forging, hand, machine, drop forging. Okay. Now let us see the what are the different types of forging. So there are majorly, as per the heating is concerned, hot forging and cold without heating, cold forging. So in general, the hot forging can be defined as it is the heating the metal above its recrystallization. We will call it as a hot forging process. Heating the metal at room temperature below its recrystallized temperature, we will call it as a cold forging. And some other types of forging methods are available, that is open die forging. So in generally, there will be open die. So one top die and bottom die. So there will be one this thing and you can keep the workpiece. So just if you apply some punch, this is say open. So exact dimensional accuracy cannot maintain in the open die forging. When you're speaking about the closed die forging, in the sense like this closed die. So this you can see, this is a open. Closed means completely mold can be closed. Only you can perform the force pressure through punch. That's called cold closed die forging. And some press forging, wherever the machines are used to have a simple shape, that's called press forging. And upset forging and roll forging, these also two another important type of forging where you can able to do some upsetting. Upsetting means changing of its cross sectional. If it is a circular means enlarge the circular reduction in diameter, length can be increased. And roll means wherever some circular and some symmetrical semicircular components are made up of this roll forging technique. Now let us see the different type of operations are important in any forging technique. So all these are 11 important operations are very important to perform any simple forging operation. Either it may be hand forging process or machine forging process or the other what you call press forging process and drop forging process. These are the a sequence of operations where you can perform in a required shape and the size of the component. Especially the forging majority think hot forging only can able to perform. Why? Because the ferrous and non-ferrous metals can be heated to some above its recrystalline temperature, so that due to plasticity, plastic deformation takes place, and by applying a little pressure also can able to convert it the shape and size of the material with as per the customer requirement. Let us see there are the sequence of operations, different type of operations where you required in a forging operation. The first one is cutting operation, upsetting operation, drawing out operation, jumping operation, bending operation, fullering operation, edging operation, punching or drifting operation, especially in the village agricultural drifting. So while pour the water in a drift tool and all, there you can able to do it. And setting down operation and forge welding operation. Finally, swaying operation. All these different type of operations are most widely used in any type of forging technique. So look at some of the different type of diagrammatic structures, diagrammatic of the forging operation. First, cutting operation. How do you do some cutting? Okay, so all this material I have taken from the forging study notes of the mechanical engineering in some authors, Kalpa Jain, Pearson publishers. Okay, so in this case, you are supposed to discuss one by one operation. Let us see the first cutting operation. When you are speaking about the cutting operation, any continuous metal or any metal can be separated from the piece. So to make a small of long metal rods, long metal plates is known as cutting. So whenever there is a lengthy, when you wanted to do two pieces, you have to cut. So that cut will use it in different type of cutting operation or forming operation, etc. Okay. So to make a small of long metal rods or plates is known as cutting. So this can be done both in the cold or hot condition. This can be done in both cold or hot condition. So when it is a hot means automatically less pressure is required. When it is cold means large pressures are almost all you required. Some presses, okay, high tonnage presses is required to change its shape and size. Obviously, when it is a cold metals, what will happen? Some chisel of cutting the angle is used to perform the operation. And for the hot metals, what will happen? Chisel of cutting angle also is used. Okay, but only the difference is when it is a hot metal, already inside the structural changes can be occurred where you can perform a simple operation. You can able to change its shape. The metal beyond the thickness of 20 mm should be cut only after heating it. So then below 20 mm thickness, without heating also can able to cut easily with some shearing machines or some punching and notching operations when you separate it improperly. So look at some different type of cutting operations like blanking, punched out to part, that inside part coming out, and this is a punching means piercing operation, making the hollow portions. Some circular part can be removed from this square or rectangle piece, and notching means at the end some square and some different type of what you call V type and some L shape type of material can be removed, and some slitting in the sense cutting with the help of the some cutter and the scissors, etc. So that is this is the some cutting operation. And forming in the sense, generally when you can perform one table above that workpiece, then you can apply some punch exactly with that large force. The metal can be separated. Okay, and some lancing also, removing at the end or at the bottom, different type of things can be added. And look at some bending. Bending also, a straight sheet can be converted into some V shape or channel shape or L shape. All these bending. And drawing means you can able to pull out, draw the material with the required shape and size. This is what about the cutting operation. Now look at this upsetting operation. So generally this offsetting operation major application is development of the bolt head. Look at how they can able to perform the good bolt head with this offsetting operation. So the main principle involved in this offsetting is there will be this is the workpiece, and how we can able to force here what are the shape inside the die that can be formed and will come out the what are the shape of the inside die can be obtained with this size or shape. Okay, and this operation applied to increase the cross sectional area of the stock or the length can be extended. Okay, and the offset force is used with direction parallel to the long axis in order to achieve the length, for example development of the bolt head only. So here bolt head is where you can able to perform some stipulated standard dimensions. It cannot exceeded, it cannot be reduced. So then only you can able to fit together in any type of application. Offsetting means we have to apply force, and if it is a circular means enlarged diameter reduced, length can be increased. And another important application is operation is drawing out operation. The simple drawing out operations, there will be a workpiece and a fixed die top and bottom, and the motion of the work between the die blows. Okay, so where you can able to apply that diameter can be reduced, length can be increased. So to increase the metal length is called the drawing out. Simply when you wanted to increase the length of the metals, the name it as drawing out process. This has been shown in this figure, clearly understand. Even a layman can be understand effectively. The metal is heated at a temperature between 2 and the hammer is struck at the break of the anvil. So here there will be fuller is used to change its diameter, reduce the diameter and increase the length. For fuller can be used bottom fuller, top fuller. The fuller can be in a different shapes also can be obtained. Different shape. This is also called the fuller. Fuller. Now next thing is the fourth important operation is jumping operation. Jumping operation means just from this diagrams you can easily understand head jumping and full jumping and center jumping and all. So mainly to shorten and thicken the pieces of the metal after heating, which is called the jumping or upsetting. The jumping other name is upsetting. Okay, so when you apply pressure, it will come out reverse, jump. It will jump. So that here, when you jump means length can be reduced and diameter can be increased. Okay, length can be reduced, diameter can be increased. Initially, it is a straight. So when you apply this will elongate. So that is what the head jumping, and this is called the full jumping and center jumping. So when you fix it, even this also if you apply pressure, this is a plastic means it can break. Some metals and all, it will form like elliptical and some different variety of shape can be obtained. So this jumping again subdivided into three types. One is the head jumping, second one is center jumping, third one is full jumping. The head jumping means this has been shown in this figure. Jumping off one end of the round rod is called the head jumping. One end only, round shape, some what you call elliptical shape can be obtained. Okay. The second thing is center jumping. Center jumping, this has been illustrated in the figure. In this category, jumping is done in any other part except the two corners of the round metal rod. For example, tape handle. Tape, how we will handle the tape. And finally, the third important classification is full jumping. So this has been shown in this figure. This is called the full jumping. How we can able to perform full jumping? The metal is completely heated and its length is reduced. Length is reduced, diameter can be increased. This is what about the jumping operation. Now look at the bending operation. Bending also it comes under the mechanical working or metal working process. This bending also can be performed in a cold working. So that is, it cannot be heated to higher temperature. The metals can be almost all it is at the room temperature, Only thing is you should be able to perform some applying the pressure with the help of the hammer, the required shape, either L bending, V bending, channel bending, edge bending, different type of component can be opted. This has been shown in the figure clearly. The round rings, etc., made through this operation. This you see round rings. So how we can able to perform. So this round shape also first straight you can keep by apply pressure so that the shape can be applied easily in this bending. And coming to this fullering, it is a very interesting in forging operation. Even when you wanted to discuss in open die or closed die, any type of process, here this fullering operation plays a vital role. Okay, so look at clearly. So the center one is the workpiece, center one is the workpiece, and there will be a bottom fuller, top fuller. So there will be bottom and top fuller, and what you are performing. This is called the annual is there, bottom fuller, this is the workpiece and top fuller, and whenever the force is applied through the top fuller with the help of the sledgehammer, when you apply the sledgehammer, so obviously here by doing this fullering operation, length can be increased, diameter can be obviously reduced. This is what about the fullering operation. Edging. So look at edging in the sense, the best example for edging is at end some spanners, 5 mm, 6 mm, some 10 mm, 12 mm. The different type of shapes can be performed. So when you wanted to perform that thing, this forging operation is performed by striking or forcing the metal plate to a desired shape. So that is what the workpiece is forced between two die edges. Workpiece is forced between two die edges. Uh, Not like this, okay, two die edges, so that you can able to apply some force and pressure, and it cannot deviate this thing. Okay, so these are the some important edging technique where you can able to perform in a better understanding of the edging, especially some adjustable seal wrenches. Wrenches also a manual it is difficult to perform. That is why some wrenches and all complicated shapes can be follow all these edging operation, okay, and other related techniques. Now punching. So this simple thing, punching means making hollow parts, making the hollow shape. This has been shown in the figure clear. You can see there will be die blocks, workpiece, and punch. So whatever in this operation there is a hole is made on the hot metal with the help of the punch. For punching, a job is first placed on the punch hole of the anvil or a nut, but and the hole is made with the punch or holes already made with the drift or enlarged. Okay, so this is what about the punching operation. Now setting down operation. The term setting down operation can be defined as it is comes under the finishing operation. Look at it is a diagrammatic representation of setting down operation. So there will be a channel and hammer kept at the end. So just by simply by applying the force through hammer, or some different type of setting down techniques also can be available in the web of resources also. Okay, so this setting down means simply it is a finishing operation or finishing process. The ends and corners of the forged metals has been made planned to bring roundness of the roundness which their seams are closed. Okay, sways and set hammers are used in this purpose only. And apart from this, twisting is also done in a providing strength to a job. And look at the another pre-final type of operation is forge welding. So this is how we will perform this forge welding. Before forge welding, you can see the how the two metals. After forging, you can see the how they can able to join with the pressure only. There is no heating can be done only by applying the pressure. So this forge welding operation, it is a process. The parts of the metal are brought into the what you call the suitable temperature in a furnace. Okay, and for forge welding, the ends of the pieces of the metals made and scarf through the jumping process. Next, swaging operation. Swaging operation is nothing but simply it can be done to decrease the complete work and desired shape, size, and usually either round or hexagonal or even square also can be performed. So in this swaging operation, the top and bottom pairs of added to the small jobs wherever or where the swage block can be used for large jobs and all. That is separate automated field will perform this swaging operation. And coming to these advantages and limitations of this forging. So the main first and foremost thing is mechanical properties such as tensile strength of the material is reduced, and it acquires the property of the plasticity. Property of the plasticity enables to get or to give the desired shape of the metal. And the second advantage is with the help of properties of the plasticity and malleability, drawing out, jumping, bending operations can also be performed effectively. And third important point is it is easy to give the furnish to fund because of its shape almost at ready. It takes less time. Okay, it's a very interesting question. And after the forging on the metal and other machine activities also easily carried out on the job. So there will be little wastage of the metal. So there is no wastage. Okay, negligible wastage. Automatically it will goes to the some what you call job, and there will be little wastage of the metal. Structure of the metal becomes proper through hot forging, and there is a little scope for the stresses and cracks of the metal. And even for every process, there will be some drawbacks also. These are the few drawbacks where I have collected from the web resources. When the metal is heated, oxidation takes place, which harms the metal, and the brittle metals cannot be forged. Brittle metals cannot be forged in this process. And finally, the finishing, which is not possible to for forging operation. There is a change in the job size, obviously. That is why we can able to prefer all these parameters to be considered and perform the good forging process. Even the disadvantages means where the oxidation takes place, you cannot place near. So otherwise, you should clean and green and effectively can be performed in this case. Okay. So this is what about uh, the basic importance of the forging operations and its principles. I hope all the students understand clearly. And this is what about the forging operations and principles. And in the next class, we'll discuss some other topic on the metal forging process. Thank you. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.